It was a stormy night when Emily found herself wandering through the desolate woods, drenched by the relentless rain. The trees, tall and gnarled, seemed to close in around her, their branches twisting like claws, reaching out of the darkness. She had been walking for what seemed like hours, lost, with no sign of civilization in sight. The storm had caught her off guard, forcing her to abandon her original route. Suddenly, through the thick fog and rain, she saw a faint light in the distance. At first it appeared to be a flicker of hope, a sign of safety. She pushed forward, her heart racing, as she followed the dim glow through the dense forest. The light seemed to dance and flicker like a lantern held by a wandering soul. As she drew closer, Emily saw a small, weathered cabin nestled in the clearing, the lantern swinging in front of it, casting long shadows across the damp ground. The door creaked open as she approached, revealing an elderly man standing in the doorway, his face hidden in the shadow of his wide-brimmed hat. "Lost, are you?" The man's voice was low, gravelly, and carried a strange echo that sent a chill down Emily's spine. Yes," she stammered, feeling a mixture of relief and unease. "I've been trying to find my way home." The man nodded slowly, stepping aside to allow her to enter. "The storm won't let you go tonight. Come in, warm yourself by the fire. You'll need rest." Emily hesitated for only a moment before stepping inside. The cabin was modest, with a flickering fire in the hearth and shelves filled with odd trinkets and old books. The air was thick with the smell of damp wood and something faintly sweet. She made her way to a chair by the fire, grateful for the warmth. The man silently tended to the fire, adding more wood, his movements deliberate and slow. As the flames crackled and danced, Emily's eyes began to wander around the room, drawn to an old lantern sitting on a small table by the window. The light was unlike any she had ever seen before, flickering with a strange, unnatural glow that seemed to pulse with life. Who are you?" she asked cautiously, her curiosity getting the better of her. The man didn't answer immediately. Instead, he turned to face her, his eyes glowing faintly in the firelight. There was something unsettling about his gaze, something old and knowing. "I am the Lantern Keeper," he said, his voice steady and calm. "The Lantern Keeper?" Emily repeated, confused. "What does that mean?" He motioned toward the lantern on the table. "This lantern holds a secret that has been passed down through generations, entrusted to me. It is the lantern of lost souls, souls who wander the earth, searching for peace but can never find it. I have kept the lantern for many years, and it has guided those in need." Emily's heart pounded in her chest. The strange glow from the lantern seemed to draw her in, its flickering light calling to her in a way she couldn't explain. "But why me? Why have you shown me this?" she asked, her voice trembling. The Lantern Keeper's face grew darker, the shadows deepening around him. "Because, my dear, you are lost, not just in the woods but in your heart. You've been searching for something, answers, peace, or perhaps even closure, and the lantern can offer you all of that, but at a price." Emily leaned forward, intrigued despite the growing fear in her chest. "A price? What kind of price?" The Lantern Keeper's eyes glowed brighter now, almost burning with intensity. "Once you hold the lantern, it will guide you to the truth you seek. But the truth may not be what you want. It will show you the darkest parts of yourself and force you to confront them. Only then, when you truly understand the darkness, will you find the peace you've been searching for." A chill ran through Emily's body. She wanted to leave, to run from the cabin, from the Lantern Keeper. But something held her there. Something inside her told her that this was the moment, the answer she had been waiting for. "Do you want to see?" the Lantern Keeper asked, his voice soft, almost a whisper. "Do you want to understand the truth?" Without thinking, Emily nodded. She reached out, her fingers brushing against the cold metal of the lantern. The moment she touched it, the world around her seemed to shift. The fire flickered, casting strange shadows on the walls, and a low hum began to fill the room. The Lantern Keeper stood motionless, watching her with eyes that were no longer human. As Emily lifted the lantern from the table, the room seemed to spin, and she felt herself being pulled into a different realm. One filled with lost souls, each one reaching out to her, their faces contorted in agony. They whispered her name. They told her their stories of pain, regret, and unresolved guilt. And then she saw it. A vision of her own past, a moment she had buried deep inside. The truth she had avoided for so long. The lantern's light flickered one last time, and Emily's world returned to normal. The cabin, the fire, the lantern keeper, all of it was gone. She stood alone in the woods, holding the lantern in her hands. The storm had stopped, and the clouds parted, revealing the stars above. But something was different now. The lantern's glow was no longer faint or flickering. It was a steady, cold light, and Emily knew, in that moment, she was no longer the same. She had seen the truth, and it had changed her forever.